My name is Brenda and I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome.
So, do you have any ideas on how to beat it?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I'm very big into alternative medicine, so I've been through a whole litany of different things and I try and do my research, but I've realized now that's not so much about beating it, it's learning to coexist with it. And it has taught me a lot of things, so to also as well be aware of the benefits, or not the benefits, but what this illness has brought to me, which is to make me be more present in each moment and try and appreciate the smaller things in life. And so I really think it's, like I said, it's learning to coexist with it, and that has been a very hard lesson as well, because I think we are trained to, I'm going to get over it, I'm going to beat it, what can I do to make it go away? And first I had to accept that, well, actually it's here and I can create the conditions for optimal health, but we can't control our bodies. And learning to accept that has been, I guess, the most important thing for me in dealing with this illness.
How old were you when it affected you the first time?
32 years old.
32 years old. You sure don't look 32 to me.
I look like I'm about 25. And now I almost feel like I'm 25 because I keep wondering, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? How is it gonna turn out?
So, do you have any advice for other people your age that on how to deal with this?
It's a fine balance. I guess it's between keeping the faith and hope. That's another thing that's been a lesson for me. The big lessons that I mentioned were patience, but also cultivating faith and hope. I didn't have much of that before. Between that, so really feeling like I am going to get over this and will be able to resume a more normal lifestyle, though it'll be very different to how I used to live my life before. But also not setting oneself up for expectation that, oh, I'm going to try this treatment and I'm going to get better. I'm going to do this and it's going to get me better. To, as I mentioned before, learned to coexist. And I think it's trying to live much more in the present, day to day, minute by minute, and really appreciating the small things that life brings us, be it watching the leaves change color, which are so beautiful, and being present for those moments instead of wishing that life were some other way, just accepting it for the way it is. Saves a lot of energy, wanting it to be another way.
I needed that. Okay, so if you had a message, did you come across any doctors or anybody that doesn't believe you?
Yes.
What was that like? How did you feel that day?
It was very difficult. It was very difficult, but if anything, it was how can I say, it really taught me to believe in myself. It was the first day that I kind of sat down and had a one-on-one with myself and realized that that I wasn't going to let other people tell me how I was feeling or what was wrong with me. And it was the really first step in a long journey of learning to trust myself. Again, I think it also has to be I think it's very individual. I mean, I'm the fourth person in my family to have this illness, and for each of us it's been quite different the way that we've experienced it. So I think as well, because as well this illness is such an unusual nature, that it's very important for each person to create a treatment plan that suits them and to suits their needs. And I would also say to remind people that, I haven't gone to medical school. I have grade 9 biology, but I'm a keen observer of my body. And when it comes down to it, I know best how my body reacts and how my body feels and how I feel. So I would say really trust yourself as to what is best for you, because you know what's best for you. And don't be bullied by systems that perhaps aren't that compassionate or sympathetic to your situation.
Or does it just hit everybody when they hit 22 or something?
Well, I got it when I was 36. But I noticed downstairs there's a younger girl. I got it when I was 36. A lot of people said to me I got it because I was like an A-type personality. Like my day started at 6, didn't end till midnight. I packed in tons of things. I have a heavy social life. I worked. I had a career. I did a lot of things in my life. And I was an A-type personality. And it certainly had to force me to review how I was living. I don't know. People said to me, I'm a teacher. People said to me, you're a kindergarten teacher. You're always. They said my immune system's shut down because I was always exposed to illnesses. Like, you know, being a teacher and a kindergarten teacher, there's always sick children, and it's true. At the beginning of my career, I did get a lot of illnesses. So that was another idea that people had. That doctor told me, well, you just broke down your own autoimmune system by working in that profession. You should really leave that profession. I got a lot of advice like that. Leave what I was doing. People had often said to me, well, you should just quit your job and just sort of live with the illness, you know what I mean? Like, but I said, no, I don't see myself doing that. I went to, when I went to Dr. Jane, they had a society, and I went to it. They had like, you know, like an AA meeting, like, you know, people sitting around talking about the illness. And I went there because I thought, well, you know, maybe I should go and talk to people that are ill like me. But I found it, I found a lot of people just gave into the illness, and I felt I never gave into it. I never said I'm going to have this forever and I'm going to be sick forever. I just didn't have that attitude about it. I said, no, I'm going to get over it or get it into remission, you know, and that's where I think I am now. I've gotten it into remission. I'm not at all sick like I used to be. And I will get sick if I get a cold or if I get the flu. I'll get the chronic fatigue afterwards for, you know, five weeks or 6 weeks, but I will get over it. I know now how to do it, so.
Okay, last question. What did you do to beat it in your mind?
Oh, well, I think I think initially I got it, and I was very sick for 5 years, and that was just the illness in me, and I couldn't do anything about that. But I just never gave into it. I said, I'm not going to be sick with this forever. People say to me, well, this is you know, you're going to have this illness forever. And I said, well, there's no way I'm going to live my life like this forever. So like I said, the antidepressants I felt were a big, if I was to advise anybody now, I'd say really think about going on the antidepressants for a couple of years. And it gets your mind into like your chemicals in the brain into another space, because it does depress you. You know, well, think about it. If you're sleeping all the time, you know, your muscles are aching, you've always got the flu. It's like you always have the flu. You know, it affects how you are. So the antidepressants to me really made a difference in, you know, in how I felt. Positive attitude, don't give into it.
Why do we need to fix this problem?
Wow, because if you ever had it, you'd want it fixed. Well, you just wouldn't want to see people with these type of illnesses forever. I mean, that's very sad. You know, I'm sure it affected my life. You know, it affected my life those early years that I had it. I mean, I didn't have any social life. Yeah, why would you want anyone ill with any kind of illness? It's a serious thing, and I hope they come up with something or a package they could give people and say, try this. This could work. This could make you better than waiting. Like, how long has it been for me? Like, it was 88. It's a long time, you know. It's a long time to have something.